A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant diplomatic engagement, Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is set to meet with US President Donald Trump at the upcoming G7 summit in Kananaskis, Canada. This meeting comes at a time of heightened global tensions, including protests across major US cities, the ongoing war in Ukraine, and the escalating conflict between Israel and Iran. Albanese's arrival in Seattle marks the beginning of a crucial week for US-Australia relations as he prepares to address several pressing issues, including the United States tariffs on Australian goods and the critical AUKUS submarine deal. Albanese confirmed the scheduled meeting after days of speculation regarding Trump's attendance at the G7, indicating the importance of their discussions. Upon his arrival, Albanese was greeted by Australian Ambassador to the US, Kevin Rudd, underscoring the significance of this diplomatic mission. I do expect to meet the president on the sidelines of the G7 meeting in Canada in 3 days' time, on Tuesday. We do have a meeting scheduled. Obviously, there are issues that the US president is dealing with at the moment, but I expect that we will be able to have a constructive engagement, he stated. One of the key topics on the agenda is the tariffs imposed by the US on Australian imports, which have raised concerns among Australian officials. Albanese emphasized that the US has enjoyed a long trade surplus with Australia and aims to address this issue directly with Trump. Additionally, he will highlight the significance of the AUKUS submarine pact, which has been under scrutiny following a recent review by US Under Secretary of Defense for Policy, Elbridge Colby. Albanese's discussions will also cover Australia's contributions to collective defense, particularly in light of US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's recent call for Australia to increase its defense spending to 3.5% of GDP. This proposed increase could amount to an additional $40 billion annually, nearly doubling the current expenditure. Albanese intends to reaffirm Australia's commitment to defense collaboration, including the deployment of US Marines in Darwin and the provision of fuel reserves. The context of the AUKUS discussions will be what Australia contributes, the potential that AUKUS has to allow for a range of benefits to the United States. It comes from our assistance for the industrial capability in the United States, of which Australia has already contributed $500 million, Albanese explained. He also highlighted the presence of over 100 Australian personnel in Hawaii, working on maintenance and skills development, and the ongoing infrastructure investments at the Henderson submarine base in Western Australia. While questions remain about the potential expansion of the Henderson facility to accommodate US submarines, Albanese maintained that existing provisions would enhance the maintenance capabilities and productivity of both US and Australian defense forces. This meeting with Trump is poised to be one of the most consequential engagements between the two nations in recent years, given the backdrop of global unrest and shifting geopolitical alliances. As the G7 summit approaches, the world watches closely to see how these discussions will unfold and what implications they may have for the future of US-Australia relations, particularly in the context of defense and trade policies. With the stakes higher than ever, Albanese's diplomatic efforts may play a pivotal role in shaping the trajectory of international cooperation in the face of emerging global challenges. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.